Hello and welcome to the final part of the video about the dialog system creation in Godot. So in this section we will check how the Dialog UI works and how it communicates with Dialog Manager. So let's check the Dialog UI script, and it has variable that checks if the interface is active or not, and by default it is false. Here we're getting Dialog Manager to use it later, and I use it like this because I have it in auto load. So as you can see, here's Dialog Manager, so this is the name that I'm using. This is the portrait. I have the signal with dialog response, and dialog response has action and parameter, right? So action and parameter, like here. I have a signal that's emitting that dialog is closed, and I have the variable to hold the current quest status. So when function is ready, we are connecting this signal, start dialog, and let's check the inputs, right? So if the Dialog Manager is not active, then we are not checking for any input. But if the Dialog UI, Dialog UI is open, then we're checking for user pressing on UI select or UI cancel. We will use those to send the information about acceptance or decline of some actions, right? And here I placed hide dialog just to hide this dialog box when user accepted the quest, for example. And here we have a function which calls handle response from UI, and we're pretty much like handling what's going on when we have something from user interface, like something going on here, right? So we're getting the button, which is, if you go here, you can find this Dialog UI. We have panel, and we have those buttons. We're checking the response text from the button, and I'm not sure if it's connected actually to this. Like, it might be some older function, because here we're checking for the current dialog, right? And in response we're checking for the key, and if text is same as a response text, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? So we have this response text in the button, and we are checking if it is the same as text in this response variable. And then we run handle response, and this is the handle response function, which is takes response key, and it's checking if this Dialog Manager current dialog has response key is like not. Then we will just say that this is we have an error, that there's no such response key in current dialog. So for example, if like my button has some response key which is not accept or decline, right? Something different. In this case, it will just answer that there's no such response key. But if it's accept or decline, which we have in the JSON, then it will be processed, and we will emit signal as dialog response with the action that is specified in response data, and with the parameter. Okay, this is pretty much it for UI. This will send the information to a dialog manager, and I will just quickly show what's next here. And this is just function that will show the dialog, and this is the function that will hide dialog. And let's see what this emit signal will do in dialog manager, right? So we have this dialog response. Let's find it here. So we're connecting dialog response. So we're getting dialog UI and connecting the dialog response. And we need to process this dialog response. So here's the function on dialog response. So it means when there is some response from dialog UI, we will run the function, right? So we have action and parameter that is sent from dialog UI. And here we pretty much deciding what we do, like when actions are matched with those that's indicated here. So when we have this start quest, yes. Yeah, so here's the action start quest. We have the parameter quest 001, right? So if there is a case, like matching case, when we have start quest, then and the parameter is not empty, right? Because we need this quest ID as a parameter. Then we get in the quest manager and running this start quest by ID with the parameter quest ID. And I quickly show where is the start quest by ID. So this is the start quest by ID, and it pretty much just creating new quest with the ID that was sent there. And here we can add any other like action that we want to have in our dialog response. So for example, it allows to create nested dialogues if you want, but you will need to change the structure here a bit. But in general, it will be possible to change the code to make like nested dialogues, to make some kind of index or something like that in order to build this nested hierarchy. And in my case, I'm not planning to make nested dialogues yet. So I just have 3 types of actions. So it's just close dialog, and I'm hiding the UI right here. So I don't need this like to do any kind of function. I just passing empty. Start quest, which is starting the quest, and accept reward, which will process like the reward transition from the quest to the player, and it will be done later. I don't have the script for that yet. And maybe I will add some other features like restore health, for example, and when there is response from dialog UI and response has action restore health, then user health will be restored. So pretty easy function, and it could be processed anywhere. Like for example, I have game manager, and I think I will use it there. That will make sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how my quest system works. And you might notice that in progress of like making this final part, I fixed some bugs, and some parts of code are changed. Especially this JSON file has only accept and decline in all those keys, and it was something different before, but I figured that it will be just easier to pass accept or decline only from the buttons, just not to have those lots of different cases. And I will upload the code to GitHub and share the link in the description in all chapters. So it should be pretty easy to just get the code and put it in your projects and make it work. Because like the steps I explained are adaptable for any type of projects, and it should be pretty easy to work with. And let me know if there's any bugs or things like that, and I will be happy to give any advice on it. Yeah, so let me show how it works at the moment. So we have this scene, and here I have this NPC that holds dialogue, and I'm comment NPC asking for quest, and here if I click on decline, I can just decline, but I need to return back and click again. And now we accepted the quest, and in the console we can see that we started new quest. The objective is to kill ants. There's type of objective, like there's a whole bunch of information there. So let's go and kill some ants. Oh, by the way, let me show like how it looks in between. So if I go now and speak, then he will say something like, are you still on the job, right? Those ants will not kill themselves. And I can close the dialog, and this is pretty much the active state of the dialog. So if I kill ants, it will be transferred to completed, and let's check that. Okay, so that's the first one, and here's the second one. So now we should see that quest is completed in the console. Yeah, here it is. And if I go to the NPC and initiate another dialogue, it will be indicated that the quest is completed. So yeah, as you can see, the NPC says like we done it, and the ants will not bother us anymore. So we can accept, and program stops working because we don't have accept reward function. So I'm going to build this function and some other features